Welcome back! You are watching Slicedlime, and this is our Beginner's Commands tutorial series. In the last few episodes, we've learned how to make fast clocks and how to use the scoreboard system to track information about players. There's one more very important aspect of commands that you need to learn in order to master command blocks, and that is data tags. We're going to start with the very basics today. A data tag is a glimpse into the internal storage of information about entities that Minecraft has. You can use it for players, you can use it for blocks, and you can use it for entities. For instance, you can use a data tag to match or set the inventory of a chest, match the inventory of a player, the command set inside a command block, or many other aspects of the game. Simply put, you can get almost any information out of an entity, but it's also fairly difficult to deal with sometimes. This means the system is very large. On the Minecraft wiki there is a page called the chunk format that has a list of almost everything you need to know about the format of data tags. Data tags are often called NBT, which is short for named binary tag. That is actually not entirely correct. NBT is the format data tags are stored in the data files when Minecraft saves them to disk. But in the game, in commands, the format you use to reference data tags is JSON, which is a JavaScript-based format. Last time we built this quartz making machine, so now that I walked under this emerald block, I will be making a quartz path. And under this gold block turns it off, and also we made an addition that made it turn off if I jumped. However, wouldn't it be nice if I grab a quartz block like this? If I just held a quartz block, then I would be making a path, and if I didn't hold a quartz block, then I wouldn't be making a path. So let's remove some of our old commands here and start over. Now you can see that regardless of whether I walk under this, it's no longer setting my score. So, to start this off, we're going to have to look at how a command is written when including data tags. Let's add our normal scoreboard command, scoreboard players set at A, quartz on 1. This command will set the score of every single player in the entire world to 1 in the quartz on objective. That's not what we want. We can, however, restrict the command to only players matching a certain data tag. We do that by adding a data tag last on this line. The data tag is always enclosed in curly brackets. A field in a data tag is made up out of two parts. It has a name and it has a value. For instance, we could test for on ground, which is the name of a field, and then that field has a value, which is the status of whether I'm on the ground or in the air or not, which would be, in this case, a 1B or a 0B. A field is always a name, colon, and then a value. Now, where it gets interesting is that the value itself can be a single value, or it can be a whole data tag in itself, or it can be a list of data tags. And when it's a value, it also can have different formats. So in this case, it's the number 1, but it's also a byte, which is the B. The depth and complexity of this is why data tags can seem incredibly complicated at first. Today though, just try to get the gist of how to use it and ignore the finer details of which data types values have. It can sometimes be difficult to get things to match up properly, but as you start learning more and more about data tags, it will become more and more second nature how to figure out what data type needs to be put in for things to properly match. Before the end of this video, I will also show you a trick to find a complete data tag for an entity in the world. Reading through the data tags for things already in the game can help in figuring out what you need to put into your commands. For now though, let's try to match what I am holding. We're going to do this by detecting a data tag called selected item. The value of the selected item tag is in itself another tag, which means curly brackets. Now inside this is what is known as an item. Items have a specific format, and that format is used regardless of if it's a selected item tag, an inventory tag, or an equipment tag for an armor stand. That makes it quite easy to remember. In this case, all we want to match is the ID tag. This is the ID of the block that we're looking for. It's a string, and in our case we're looking for Minecraft:quartz block. If we let that command run on the clock, we can see that now if I switch to the quartz block, my path making has turned on. That's great, but it doesn't turn off again when I switch away. There's no way to do inverse matching, which means that I can match quartz, but I cannot match not quartz. To fix this, we'll simply take this command, move it later on the clock. Here, remember that lower coordinates always run before higher coordinates. So this lower y block will run before this higher y block. Now, our first command, we're simply going to set the score of every player to 0 in the quartz on scoreboard, and then we can replace it again with 1 in case that player is holding a quartz block. The end result is that now that I'm not holding a quartz block, my score is 0, but if I switch to my quartz block, my score becomes 1. 0 and 1, switching back and forth. And of course I'm making paths, and now I'm not making paths. That is a first very simple example on how you can use data tags in a command to match information about a player or an entity. Before we end, I also promise to show you a way to find out more information about an entity in the world. Let's create an entity by throwing this torch out. This torch is now an item entity laying on the ground. Let's say I want to find out more about what data tags this entity has. I can then use the entitydata command, which is a command normally used to change data tags for an entity. In this case, I'm just going to do type equals item, c equals 1 to select the closest item to me. And the data I'm going to change in this entity, I will actually leave blank. That means I'm not changing any data, so this command should do absolutely nothing. What it does, however, is give me a sort of an error message saying the data tag did not change, and then telling me the entire data tag. Here you can see it has a motion tag, it has some UUID tags, it has a health, a state of whether it's invulnerable or not, how long it's been in the air, what dimension it's in, if it has a portal cooldown, who threw it, the fall distance, the item itself, how many of those it were, if it has a damage value or not, and so on. Let's say I would like to take a closer look at that in a format that isn't this terrible Minecraft chat window format. I can simply put that into a command block, entitydata at e type equals item, c equals 1, run this command block, and then open it back up. The previous output window here now contains the same data, but this allows me to copy that data into the clipboard, which means I can now put it on screen. This is very useful if you have an external editor like Notepad++ or something else that's better at displaying values. If you go to the Minecraft wiki page on commands, you will see that some of the commands include a data tag argument. You can always write those within curly braces the way we have written here. Take a look at those and see which commands can be used with data tags. You can also use this method that I've shown here to experiment in your own world and find which different data tags different entities have. That will be all for this time. We will continue on our journey to learning the intricacies of data tags next time. As always, if you have any questions or need any help, feel free to post a comment in the comment section below. Other than that, good luck with your commands, and I will see you next time.